7 years with my Tesla Model 3. I'm Frugal Tesla Guy. I'm going to show you where it all started and how I got to where I am today and just my overall experience with Tesla in general. Well, it wasn't too long ago I received a notification from Tesla saying, "Happy Tesla-versary, 7 years," with my 2018 Tesla Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. And I couldn't be happier with the car when I first bought it and even to where it is 7 years later. You know, this got me to thinking about where this all started. Now, obviously, it was the announcement of the Tesla Model S, and unfortunately, when it was released, I came nowhere near being able to pay that price tag of over $100,000. I tried to work the finances around it, but it just wasn't something that I could do. Then, of course, not too long after that, they announced the Tesla Model 3, a more affordable version, which at the time they were saying was going to be $35,000. I thought, yes, this is finally going to happen. And in 2017, it finally came out. But, of course, before that all came, I had to scratch my itch a little bit. So I started with a Nissan Leaf, a much smaller car, much shorter range. It only had about, I think it was a little over 100-mile range when I first got it. It was basically just a car that I could drive around town in. I couldn't go on road trips with it. We had a different car for that. Then the Tesla Model 3 finally came out. But once again, as we'd expect, it didn't come out with the $35,000 car, did they? It was more like $50,000 plus after, taxes and all that. And that's when I thought, boy, I don't know, that's probably still outside of my range. But then it turned out that one of my buddies had one, and he invited me over to test drive it. So before we get into any more details, let me just show you some footage of my overall first impressions of the first time I had ever gotten behind the wheel of a Tesla Model 3. All right, so this is my first time getting inside the Model 3. And just getting in, I'm already super comfortable. So just the initial getting in the car, not even stepping on the accelerator yet, I can tell you right now, I'm like super thrilled with this thing. It's a beautiful looking car. And I've been hearing all about the simplicity of no controls, just the big screen, the monitor. So far, so good. I'm not seeing anything where I'm like, this is weird, this is unusual. I don't think I think this could not be a deal breaker for anybody. I know people have been talking about this being a deal breaker. I can't imagine it being a deal breaker. This right here, I think being the main center console, whatever you want to call it, is probably going to work out just fine for most people. That's my first take. All right, so we're done here. And tell you what. So how do I get this thing out of park?
Just foot on the brake and push it down into drive. So hard click.
That's it, right?
That's it.
It's in D. All right, let's see how it goes. Do you have the emergency brake on?
It's all automatic. You don't do anything.
All right, yeah. You're talking to a Leaf owner, so all right. So I just go, right? I push on the accelerator, and here we go. Right off the bat, it feels smooth. It, nothing surprising here, but I'd be willing to guess that this is. So if I'm, okay. It doesn't click into place.
So a short touch or a light touch will give you 3 blinker clicks, okay. And then a firm one.
All right, here we go. Yeah, definitely much more than a Leaf, that's for sure. I don't want to get pulled over. It felt great. I mean, that was, and I probably didn't put on as much as I could have.
No,
which
so when you can get out here and just put it to the floor and
no cars coming.
You can just stop it.
All right, here we go. Oh yeah. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, that you hear about it, you see it on YouTube, but until you actually experience it, the Leaf gets up and goes, but certainly not to anything near this Model 3. So again, it'll be interesting to do it on this and then to do it on the Model S and try to compare the two. What's funny is I look back at that, I'm like, why did I even record it? I didn't have a YouTube channel. I'm not sure why I did that, but I did it, and I'm glad I did because I was able to document my first experience with the Tesla Model 3. And of course, no surprise, I absolutely fell in love with the car. But again, I was struggling with the finances a little bit. Is this something I could afford? Then I started doing more research and started looking into used Tesla Model S's. And at the time, I could get a 2014 for about the same price as a brand new Tesla Model 3. So I test drove a used 2014 Tesla Model S. I believe it was rear wheel drive and 85 kilowatt battery. So it was the Model S 85, I believe is what it was. It wasn't all-wheel drive, it was just a rear-wheel drive. Now, I didn't record that because we had the car dealer that was in the car with me, and it was kind of awkward to record it at that time. But here's what's interesting. After test driving that car, and of course, driving the Tesla Model 3, I then recorded again. I'm not sure what I was going to do with the recording, but I then recorded my overall thoughts and what my decision was. Tesla Model 3, brand new, or a used Model S. And here's what I came up with. So here is my take on that question. What's the difference? Or should I buy a Model 3 or should I buy a used Model S? And here's my take on it. There really is no right or wrong answer to that. Bottom line, it's you and your personal preference. Are you the kind of person who wants to drive around in a sports car? Or are you the kind of person who wants to drive in a flashy, luxurious sedan? Now, sedan, there's nothing sexy about that word, right? So I really don't like to call the Tesla Model S a sedan because it's still a very sexy car. You look at it, the great lines, everything about it, just a beautiful car. But the feel, it's apples and oranges when you're talking about the overall driving experience between the Model S and the Model 3. They both are phenomenal driving experiences, but in their own different ways. And it depends on your own personal preference on what kind of driving experience you want on a day-to-day basis. If you want that, again, that sporty feel, sports car feel, the nimble, the quickness, the tight suspension, then the Model 3 is the way to go. But if you're looking for something a little bit more luxurious, more space, more cargo space, you're driving your family around on road trips a lot, and you want more space, then the Model S is going to be the way to go. So for me personally, after having driven both cars, my wife and I sat down, we went through the advantages and disadvantages of each car, and we decided that the used Model S for us is the way to go. And eventually, maybe down the road, we may get, once kind of the hype and once we can kind of get the assembly line going in the next couple of years with the Model 3, maybe get a lower range Model 3. And so we'll have the Model S for our road trips, and then we'll have the Model 3 for the day-to-day driving. And who knows, maybe my wife will want to have the Model S for day-to-day driving. It all depends. But that's kind of my take on the should I buy a used Model S? Should I buy a brand new Model 3? There is no right or wrong answer. It all has to do with personal preference. At the time, right, I was thinking Model S. But I think after recording that video, it was a day or two later, I really started thinking about it again. I said, I got to get that Model 3. So that's exactly what happened. Now, I was a little concerned because at the time, it was still just coming out. And there was talk about, it was going to take months upon months. And I believe when I ordered it, it took less than a month for me to actually get my hands on the car. And again, we go back and I was absolutely thrilled. And this is an image that I've shown over the years since I started my YouTube channel. And this is where it all started, right? I finally had my first Tesla Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. Now, after having the car for a couple of weeks, probably a little over a month, I needed to make a trip down to Texas. And I thought this is a perfect opportunity for me to go on a road trip with the car. So I drove from Northern California to Central Texas. Again, I didn't have my YouTube channel just yet. Didn't really document it either, but my overall experience was great. I didn't have any problems. And if you think about the number of superchargers in 2018 compared to where we are now, I mean, a world of a difference, right? I mean, a lot more superchargers out there. Then, shortly after that, I did start my YouTube channel, Frugal Tesla Guy. So really my overall objective and the reason why it's called Frugal Tesla Guy is because up until the point of the Model 3 coming out, Tesla was associated with people who had lots of money, people who could afford $100,000 plus cars. I was nowhere near that. And quite honestly, even the $50,000 car that I ended up buying was a little outside of my price range as well, but I wanted to prove and show to people and help break that mold of only people who have tons of money can buy Teslas. That's not the case. People were associating me with somebody who had lots of money, but in reality, I don't have tons of money. I've got enough to get by. I'm happy. I'm fine, but I'm not $100,000 car happy, or I am happy. I don't need a $100,000 car to be happy, but you get the idea. So that was the idea behind Frugal Tesla Guy YouTube channel, just to break that mold. Hey, look, average guys who make average salaries can own a Tesla. And I was happy to share that experience. Now, it was shortly after that that I went on my second road trip back to Central Texas with my son, and that was documented, and I made a video about it. Of course, I'll be sure to put a link to that in the description below so you can check that out. And another thing that I really wanted to do with the channel is prove to people that this is a car that you can have for your daily drive and for road trips, that you can indeed travel long distances, even across the country if you need be, that there are enough superchargers. Even in 2018, that was the case. You could do it. Obviously, now it's without question that you can do it because the amount of superchargers is through the roof. And now other cars other than Teslas can charge at it, so they've got to have even more as a result. So it's been an interesting ride. Now, within that time, the number of subscribers, thank you all so much for subscribing to my channel, started going up. And it started getting a little bit more credibility, and more aftermarket products companies started coming to me to review their products. So I started doing more of that as well. So again, it's been a very interesting ride, to say the least. So again, thinking back to where it started to where I am now. Well, it was around the 100,000 mile mark. And I'm about 125,000 miles now with my Tesla Model 3. I did a review on how the car is holding up. So I'm not going to, go through that again. It's about 25,000 miles later. Not much has changed since that video. So I'm going to go ahead and post a link to that video as well if you want to watch how my Tesla Model 3 has aged and how it's handled the wear and tear of everyday use over 100,000 miles. And overall, I mean, just to kind of give you a synopsis, the interior minus normal wear and tear still looks great. The exterior minus normal wear and tear and stupid things like getting a little dent here and there and scratches, my fault. Still, the car, I think, looks absolutely amazing. So it's very clear my Tesla Model 3 has served me beautifully. Quite honestly, if I didn't have a son or didn't have a son who was ready to drive and had, no reason to hand him over the car, then I would probably still be driving it. Now, I don't know 100% sure if I would end up just keeping it and getting the Model Y that I ended up getting, or if I would just continue to drive my Tesla Model 3 and be happy with it. I think it's a great car. One of the things that was kind of just irking me, not even necessarily irking me, but was in the back of my mind was I liked the added space that the Tesla Model Y had since day one. And so that was one of the things that when I had my 3, I was like, man, if I could do it all over again, I would certainly get the Y over the 3. But I ended up driving a Model Y, I believe it was a 2022. Very interesting situation. So as you may or may not know, I did start my own business, and financially, I just didn't quite know where I was. So a buddy of mine actually did me a solid. He bought a Tesla Model S Plaid And rather than sell his Model Y Performance, by the way, to somebody he didn't know, he wanted me to have it. But at the time, I just didn't know if I could afford it. I didn't know if I could make the payments. He said, tell you what, drive it for 6 months. And 6 months later, if you can't afford it, then we'll just go ahead and sell it. Well, 6 months later, I just wasn't 100% there yet. And, you know, I felt so bad because he ended up taking a bit of a loss because the car did lose some of its value in that 6 months time. But we were able to sell it, and I continued to drive my Tesla Model 3. Then, several months later, the business started doing better, and I thought to myself, okay, my son's about ready to drive. The new Tesla Model Y just came out. I test drove the Tesla Model Y, absolutely loved it, and was actually able to compare and contrast the older version to the newer version with the experience. So I was very happy to get my hands on a new Tesla Model Y. Number one, I was able to get a great financing rate at 1.99 financing. Number two, I don't know if you can still now, but I was able to transfer my full self-driving beta, or supervised, from my Model 3 to my Model Y. So that was also huge. Then shortly after that, the big beautiful bill came out. Well, what that's going to do, we know that, I think it's September, right? It's September, I believe it is, either early or late September, the federal tax credit is going away. It's gone. So I couldn't have purchased my car at a better time. Great interest rate, transfer of full self-driving beta. I'm still getting the federal credit. That won't be the case by the time we go into October of this year. So I couldn't be more thrilled. So it really did work out great. And I'm super thrilled to get my car get my son, that is, behind the wheel of my old Tesla Model 3. And in fact, I do remember thinking when I bought the car when he was very little, that I remember telling him, I said, if you play your cards right, this could be your first car. Well, here we are. He must have played his cards right. But, you know, we know it's one of the safest cars on the road, so I'm thrilled about that. I'm able to, you know, track him, and you can see where the car is and all that good stuff. I trust him. I'm not going to put it on, you know, he can only go 60 miles an hour or put a speed limit on for him, but I'm really happy that he's able to take that car. I'm really happy with my Tesla Model Y Juniper. My wife has a Highland Model 3. I believe it's a 2025. So we are a 3 Tesla household. I know, sounds crazy. Never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that would happen, but I am. And I'm absolutely loving it. My electric bill, not loving it so much. But that being said, obviously cheaper than having to buy gas. So there you go. So there you have it. That is my just kind of a reflection of over the years. You know, after getting that 7th, what do they call it? They call it the Tesla-versary. After 7 years, where it all started with my Tesla Model 3, 2018. And then, of course, eventually my wife getting the Highlander, and then I end up getting the Model Y. My son's taken over the Model 3. It's been an amazing journey. I've really enjoyed, you know, being a part of the YouTube community and bringing some of you on board with me. A lot of you, I thank you so much for your subscriptions and following me along the way. I know that there was this kind of this dead zone when I was just starting out my business. I had to really focus on that. I couldn't contribute as many videos to this channel, but I'm glad to be back. Now that things have settled down, the business is going great. I'm able to pay the bills. It's growing. It's doing well. Check it out, weathernorcal.com. That's what I'm doing. Check out nationalweathernetwork.com. I'm part of a national group of guys doing what I'm doing in the weather. As you know, TV is semi-dying industry. And I decided to go out on my own as a meteorologist and start my own weather channel for a local area here in Northern California. And like I said, it's doing great, which is why I was able to buy my new Tesla Model Y. But again, I'm able to contribute to the channel more, and I'll be doing some more reviews as I kind of move forward with the Tesla Model Y. For example, I've got these. We'll have to kind of check this out, do this in a later video. Side view mirrors, carbon fiber. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this My wife actually ended up backing up into the garage in the Tesla Model Y, and she took the side view mirror with her. I had to take it to this, they had to replace it in the works, but there still is a chip on the paint on the side view mirror, and this, I love the carbon fiber, but on top of that, that's going to cover the paint as well. We'll take a closer look at those and how easy they are to install and how they look on a blue Tesla Model Y. But that's going to do it for this video. What do you think? Are you a new owner? Have you owned your Tesla for a while? Tell me what your experience has been like. Is it something that you've enjoyed? Have you hated driving your Tesla? Do you wish you could go back to your normal car? Tell me in the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Well, that's going to do it, folks. This has been a fun ride, and we're going to keep this going. Let's see if we can get more subscribers. Let's see if we can go from over 50,000 to 100,000 subscribers. Why not? Let's go for it. Well, that's going to do it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.